Hey everybody, it's Pearce, and today I want to talk to you about time. So many people go throughout life feeling like they don't have enough time to get done with everything that's important to them. Have you ever gone to the end of your day and then looked back and said, man, so many of those things on my to-do list I didn't get done with, or wondering what you even did throughout the day? I know I've had that experience. But today I want to talk to you about 3 specific ways that I have used time tracking to help increase my productivity and help me to actually do the things that are more important to me in life. And it all kind of starts back when I was in junior high. I had a health class where I was given an assignment to track everything that I ate for an entire week. So, as I was popping candy in my mouth, I had to write down, the candy that I was eating. And everything good and healthy that I ate, I wrote that down too. And it was interesting noticing how that affected me. I think just naturally becoming more aware of what I was putting into my body made me make better choices about what I was eating. I had to think twice. Every time I ate a piece of candy, I had to think about, now I've got to write down that I ate a piece of candy, and I'm going to have to show my teacher that I ate a piece of candy and I'm not being healthy. But the more that I was aware also of the things that I was doing well, the things I was eating that were healthy, helped me to eat better. And this same philosophy of tracking what I ate, I later applied to tracking my money that I was spending. So I would track every penny that I spent, and I'd put it in the computer, and it would spit out a report at the end of the month showing me how much I'd spent in each category of my life. And just doing that naturally helped me to say, wow, I'm spending this much here and this much here, but this is actually more important to me, so I'm going to put more money here and whatever. And I think ultimately the same strategy of tracking food and money applies equally well to tracking time. Why is it that when we track something, we're almost naturally inclined to start making better choices? I think it's because the simple act of measuring and tracking increases our awareness about how we're spending our time or whatever it is that we're tracking. And having that extra information to make a decision about, intuitively, subconsciously, we already know what's good for us, what we want, how we want to spend our time, what's important to us, and being able to see in context how we're spending our life versus how we want to be spending our time helps us just naturally migrate to those better decisions. Okay, so here are my 3 time tracking strategies, which I call my time mastery trio. So the first one is the simplest. At the end of every day, just take a few seconds even, to a few minutes, however long you want to spend, and write what I call a daily summary of what happened that day. So I'll do this right before bed, at the very end of the day, and I'll write down the things that I thought went well today, and maybe the things that I think didn't go so well, how I was feeling during the day, what were the general emotions that I was experiencing, what are some things that I might want to work on tomorrow that I want to put as a priority. You can get as detailed or not as you'd like, but for me, just having that time, taking that time every day to reflect on how the day went and on my state during the day helps me have more awareness to make better decisions moving forward. And it also has a really cool side effect of me being able to pick any day and being able to go back to it, and what if I was wondering what was I doing on such and such date, I can tell you, and that's pretty cool to be able to look back. And it's helpful for journaling and writing blog posts as we go throughout our months as well. So that's been a really great tool for me, and it's very simple, it doesn't take much time, but I think it has a powerful effect. Now I write my daily summary using an app called Diaro, D-I-A-R-O. But you can do it on paper, you can do it in a journal, anywhere you want. So the second time tracking strategy in my time mastery trio is what I call the daily log. And this is also very simple. I use Google Docs for this, but you can use any word processor or even paper again, whatever you choose. And I just have one document that I open and I use it for the entire year. I'll put the header of today's date. And then below that, I create a bulleted list, and I just put the time right now, and then I write a quick summary of what I did since I woke up. And then the next line will come maybe half hour later, a couple hours later, depending on how often I want to keep the log, and then I'll write a short summary of what happened since my last entry. And throughout the day, I will get a series of logs that are easy to look back on, and just a quick, easy way to say, here's what I did today, in a little bit more detail than I would get in the daily summary. I don't know if you've ever had the experience of getting lost in the web of Facebook articles and whatnot, and just, pretty soon hours are gone and you don't know where the time went. Having a timer that I set on my phone to remind me to keep the log, or even just having in the back of my mind the knowledge that I'm keeping a log today, helps me remember what I wanted to focus on that day. So if I'm entering a log, or if I'm browsing Facebook, the timer goes off, I enter in the log, and I'm like, oh, what did I do the past 30 minutes? Well, I was doing this, and then I got sucked into Facebook. And writing that is a good wake-up call, and helps me to remember what it is that I meant to be focusing on, and puts me back on track. Now, it could be that what I was reading on Facebook was actually really cool, valuable information, and I learned something important, and I can write down exactly what it is that I read about. And that's also helpful for me to be able to go back and say, well, it wasn't a complete waste of time, right? I actually got something out of it. So the daily log is really powerful for that. And it helps me feel like I'm actually accomplishing more than I'm accomplishing the same, but tracking it helps me remember and be aware that I am accomplishing more. So the third time tracking strategy in my time mastery trio is by the second tracking. Now this one is a lot more intense, but it's extremely powerful, and I think has the potential to revolutionize the way you spend your time. And the idea is to track every second of every day for an entire week, or however long you decide. And this is very interesting because it not only is a log of what you've done. It's not like looking back in the past at what did I do and then writing it down. Its focus is what are you doing right now. And I think it's really powerful for helping you be present in what it is that you're working on, and in making sure that you're working on the things that are most important to you. So some of the ways that I have used this are through online time tracking tools. I like the tool called slimtimer.com. It's one I've used. I think there are newer, better ones now. Toggle.com is another one, Toggl.com. But if you just Google time tracking app, you'll find plenty of options, free time tracking tools. And the idea is you just type in what it is you're working on, or what you're going to work on now, and hit the start button. And then it starts counting away by the second. And once you finish that task, you just hit stop, or type in the new task you're going to do, start, and then it counts away. So the timer is constantly running while you're awake, while you're asleep. When you're sleeping, you'll type sleep, before you go to bed. And as you're tracking everything that you do throughout the day, minute by minute, second by second, what you end up with is a great picture of how you're spending your time throughout the day and throughout the week. And these programs can run reports. If you categorize the tasks that you're working on, you can see how much time you're spending on, however you categorize it. Personal, how much time you're spending with your family, how much time on work. You could break it down by project. You could get as detailed as I'm using this particular app on my computer. RescueTime.com is a good program to track that. But there's so many different, you can do it however deep you want to go. You could just have 3 categories and track that, but I think you'll get more benefit the more detailed you go. But it also is a little bit more time intensive to constantly be switching tasks. But as I said, very powerful tool. I've only done this 2 or 3 times in my life, but every time I've done it, it's been very revealing about my priorities and my values, and made it clear to me how I'm spending my time versus how I want to spend my time. If you have seen the blog, The 4-Hour Work Week, or Timothy Ferriss, he actually picked up on an article that I wrote about this very topic. If you want to find it, it's on my blog and on his. He guest posted the article. It's called How I Spend My Time Now, and I'll link to it below if you want to see the breakdown of how I spend my time, at least one of the times that I did this test. So it's a really fun exercise, and I encourage you to give it a try if it sounds interesting to you. But if you find yourself getting overwhelmed by the process, if this sounds like too much, that's okay. Do something simpler that is a time tracking method that better fits your schedule and your lifestyle. So if the tracking every second of every day, the second by second tracking is too intense, then try the log. And if tracking your time in 10-minute increments in a log is too much, do every hour or every 3 hours, or just do it at the end of a task. And if that's too much, then just fall back on the end of the day daily summary and see how it affects you. See how increasing your awareness of how you're spending your time, how it changes the way that you spend your time and the choices that you make with regards to that. I believe that time is our most valuable resource, and as we become more aware of how we're spending our time throughout our days, moment by moment, day by day, we'll be more empowered to make better choices, to live our dreams, to make a difference, and to have a more fulfilling life throughout the day. So I hope you find these tools helpful for you and that you can apply this time mastery trio, any aspect of it, in your life. If you're able to do all three, wow, I think you're going to be amazed at the results in your life. But if you can only implement one or one at a time to try them out, give it a shot. I highly encourage it and would love to hear how it works for you. If you want to send me a note or write a comment below, I'd love to hear how implementing these tools is affecting your life and your time tracking. Or if you have other ways that you track time that you'd like to share with me, please feel free to send them over. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching, and remember to live well and enjoy life now.